Hi, good morning guys, it's me Admiral Pixis on the Pixis Show, and on today's show we are going to be looking at the various points of the game to source officers. Now we all know officer sourcing in this game is sort of like hit and miss about how good it is and how well you can progress officer wise. Sorry, bit of a frog in my throat this morning. But it's actually a little bit more complicated than that. Now, does it need to be complicated? To be honest, no it doesn't. But it is. So what we're going to do is going to go over the various sourcing points. I'll give you my general opinion on how decent it is. And then there's going to be officers as well that I'm going to throw up on the screen who are not actively being sourced right now. Bearing in mind, this is what I remember most of it. So, yeah. And then I'm going to talk about how we could actually potentially improve it if Scopely are even prepared to listen to a simple quality of life update idea. So, officer sourcing is all up behind RNG. But if you want to know when I'm also dropping videos and going live, do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Sorry, just threw that in there, throw you all off. But yeah, so all officers are locked behind RNG. Now, there are literally two forms of RNG, all with various different numbers. It's literally like trying to find, it's like the Borg trying to find a specific phase of frequency to absorb weapon damage rather than it actually damaging their ship. But the levels of RNG goes as follows. The first one is the rarity of the officers. The more common the officer, the bigger the RNG and the more chance you're going to get of that officer. So you've got common, uncommon as your next, rare, and then epic. So that's the way it's going to go in RNG. Now, logically and quite rightly, that's the way it should actually be, because epics are usually the best, they're the biggest, and they're the most powerful. So that's that first level of RNG. The second level of RNG is number of shards. So actually, no, sorry, officers is actual officers themselves, because all the officers in the game have varying degrees of RNG. So like uncommon officers, Chen, who is part of your primary PvE setup, pre-level 51, obviously we've got a few new ones, a lot of new ones added in lately, for pre-51 and post-51, before and after, basically. Chen is one of the most valuable officers in the game, as an uncommon. The original Pike and Monroe, epic and rare, respectively. They are also very, very important in the game. However, they're going to have a lower RNG than, say, for instance, I can't even think of an uncommon off the top of my head. Beitor, she's an uncommon, if I remember correctly. So, Chen has got a lower RNG than what Beitor have. Now, Beitor is primarily used on our amalgams for increasing the amount of loot that we get when raiding bases. So, things like that. When it comes to the epics, Pike is going to have that lower RNG in comparison to, say, somebody like Carol Marcus. Not a very worthwhile card to put on your ship. Definitely an away team's officer, definitely. But she's going to have a better RNG in sourcing than Pike is. So it's literally like that. And literally the RNG levels will not be too much between them. Now, the third level of RNG, yeah, 3 levels of RNG. I know I said 2, but there's actually 3 when I went into it more. The third level is how many shards you'll get. Because some of these chests now have varying levels of shards, from either a full unlock all the way down to one shard of those particular officers. So first of all, if you've got a chest of officers with all four rarities, you're going to start off with your rarity. Then you're going to go to the next officer of that rarity. Then you're going to go to the number of shards of that particular officer in that rarity. Basically, your RNG is going to be stupidly small overall. So we all have that to contend with. But that is nothing compared to sourcing the damn things. Yes, sourcing is ridiculous. Now, I actually sat down and off the top of my head, while I was actually on a school run, actually, wrote down a number of sourcing points for officers. And the officers I could think of at the time, off the top of my head, that are not being sourced. Okay, we'll talk about them later. 14 points of sourcing. Okay, 14 points of sourcing I come to. Yeah. Let's go through these 14 points of sourcing. So, where do we need to go? Let's start with the original place for sourcing. And in my opinion, this is where it should all be. But we'll discuss that later. It is this recruit button. And basically, we've got a load of different chests in here. But your first one is going to be the mission key drop. As you can see, I pulled this yesterday. Basically, drops a mission key that you'll take into the next chest over to pull one shard of one epic officer. So if we just jump into this chest, as you can see, we've got a various amount of officers in here. So like valuable officers in here would be 5 of 11, Divana Tindi, Khan, all valuable officers. Oh, sorry, and the Tribble. The least valuable officer in this chest is most likely going to be Sealer or Barclay. So they're going to have the higher levels of RNG. But there's not much difference between them. When you look at the numbers, there's not much between them. Now, I don't have access to the numbers, but generally, I usually pull Sealer when I do this. Now, here in the game, this is a weekly pull because you can only do one of these things every 7 days. However, if you go over to the web store, you can pull this every 22 hours. Yeah, so it's definitely worth it. And then you just basically come into game and pull one of these shards. Now, I'm not going to do that because that's just too much faffing around. So you've got these. Una, again, most recently becoming maybe that little bit more important with the new Zindi hostiles about applying damage. Maybe, who knows? But it's down to you to decide on that one. So this is the first one here in this chest, but it's not part of the original set. Next up we have Discovery. Now, as you can see, I've got refit bonus on this because there is a skin refit that will allow you to add Lorca to your pool of officers because he's not originally in here, and it also increases the number of pulls by 50%. Hence the reason the screenshot. But in here, basically what we've got then is we've got 4 different sets actually. We've got the Discovery crew in the form of Giorgio, Burnham, Tyler, Saru, Stamets, all the uncommons down here and all the commons. So as you can see, this is a chest that's got all 4 rarities in it. So the rarities, the origins will be your best one. Then it's going to be uncommon, rare, and then epics. Now in here as well is the Terran Empire, which is Emperor Giorgio, Captain Killy, and Lorca. Yes, I'm going to call it Killy. I like that for one of the best, well, one of the most ruthless captains of the Terran Empire. So I will call it Killy. And obviously then as well you've got the original Pike, the Pike I've just mentioned. Higher RNG than Lorca or Giorgio. Okay, he's going to have, sorry, not higher, lower. He's going to have a lower RNG. Burnham, being not the most valuable epic in here, will actually have the higher RNG. And then obviously you've got Spock as well from the original crew. So now if we pull a chest of this, so I am going to pull the single chest and then we're going to see what we're going to get. So the first thing is we're going to get Arium. Now, this is another thing as well. Conversion. Once you reach the maximum number of shards of officers, they will convert to commons and uncommons will convert into officer XP. Okay? Rares and epics will convert into transporter patterns. So that is when you've got the maximum number of shards to go from tier 1 to tier 5. Max it out at tier 5, and then it's an overflow of that particular officer. So the two you've seen so far, Arium and Stamets, is an overflow of shards for those particular officers. So we got Lorca, then we got some ship XP, and we also got some spore components. So that's pretty much what we got. And then obviously when you call it up, it just pretty much looks like that. So basically, it looks like the only officer you got in here was Lorca. But actually, I got some shards of Arium and of Stamets. Now, I'm not going to pull any more than that, but that's what you're going to get. So some of these chests as well do contain these extra little trinkets as well. Third one. Well, I can't exactly call it number 3 because it's got a timer on it. I do not think it's going to last longer than this. This is recorded January 2024 during the Enterprise Part 1 arc. And what we've got in here is we've got officers from the Voyager set and also officers from the Pick set and also officers from the Borg. Now, I've actually ascertained when these officers were all released. These are all officers released during 2023 at various points. The Borg officers came in February, so January and February, starting with Hugh and Galanar. The Queen, Dozak and Gosar all came in February. The Pick officers came in March and April, and then all the Voyager officers followed after that. But now as you can see, they all have a single shard. That is it. Your RNG for this one in here is literally just 5 shards. But this is actually telling you, it does not matter if it's an epic or a rare, they all have equal chances. Now, take it as you will on this one. Is it all RNG based? Is it going to be literally, so how many we got? We've got 5, 10, 15, 19. Okay, so that's literally just a hair over 5% each. But you're going to get 5 shards, so we're going to literally just pull this one and see what we're going to do. Obviously, I will be pulling various chests, not all of them, do not worry. So the first one we got is the Queen. Great, because her source is not particularly that very good. Galanar, his source is pretty good. Next up is Dozak. No, again, he's not very good neither. Sourcing. And Tuvok, yeah, very questionable again on Voyager sourcing. So they're the shards I got. I got 2 Tuvoks, so that's pretty good. So that's what I got out of that chest. And this again, RNG, I got an epic and a few rares. So that's fine. Now obviously I can't pull any more until I get some more of these tokens, but we'll do them through events. So now, like I said, I'm not going to class that as number 3 because plain and simple, it does have a timer. So next one, take it as you will, is 3 or actually as 1 single one or 3 individuals, is the original recruitment chest from the game, which is the Standard, Premium and Ultra. Standard basically gives you 3 rare mining officers. Very, very valuable. It's going to give you a load of uncommons from the various different sets around the game, all the original sets from the game. Also common officers as well from the original sets of the game, and also the next gen commons, which was released during the Next Generation arc. They was added to this chest. Again, pulling on this is reasonable. You got a 3% chance of the rare, 12% chance of the uncommon, but you're guaranteed pretty much you're going to get a common officer. Let's pull the first one. Now, the one thing is these things are, the tokens are easy to source. So there you go, got 1 shard and that's it. That is it. And it's gone straight to Officer XP. So what you're going to find is with this standard one, if you do happen to run out of those tokens, you can convert Latinum into it. Now, because I've got 33,000, I can't show you this. But for the 5 chest pull, it is going to cost you a maximum of 4,000 Latinum per 5 chest pull. So every time you press that 5,000, if you've not got the standard recruit tokens, it will ask you, do you want to spend Latinum? And it's going to cost you 4,000 to do that chest. Yes, absolutely. Because there is an officer in here that you absolutely want. Chen. Reason being, officer's ability. Coupled with Piker Moreau, the best PvE crew in the game, bar none. At the minute, pre-51. Pre-51. Now, you can make arguments for the other sets, but again, it goes against what hostiles you're going up against and what abilities they have. But for lower level players who are watching this, Chen is the one you go after. If you've got the Latinum, do it. Absolutely. There is also a pack which will also help you as well, which Rev Juice designed. And it's $20, and if I remember correctly, if you buy 5 packs, it will give you enough shards to max Chen out. If I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I can't remember off the top of my head. So, next one is the premium. This is basically one of the worst sets in this. Guaranteed uncommon or better. Uncommon, rares, and epics. Epics obviously being the smallest. And it also gives you a 5% chance to get enough shards to unlock a random uncommon or rare officer. As you can see, it's a fight. This is the various levels of RNG in here. So this is another level. So we're saying we're going to give you a chance of an unlock, but it's only a 5% chance you're actually going to get it. So you've got that level of RNG there. Then you've also got the level of RNG. Which one is it going to be? Is it going to be an uncommon officer or is it going to be a rare officer? Well, you've got an 80% chance of an uncommon, 20% chance of a rare. So from that 5%, you've got 80% of that. Then you've got the RNG of which particular officer in that bracket. So let's go with the uncommon because it's the biggest. So which one's you going to get? Chen's the smallest. So yeah, what's the chance? So the chance of getting a full unlock of a particular officer you want is actually way lower than you actually think. And I'll pull the one chest. It's not going to happen. I guarantee it's not going to happen. But out of this one then, we're going to be getting levies converted to transport pants. I've only got 2, so which means the next one should be at least 2 shards. Yep. An officer XP. That's it. So we're not going to pull any more because obviously I'm not going to. So that's that one. Now the next one is a chest that's becoming very, very diluted because pretty much most of the officers that are being dropped in the game are rares and epics. Because obviously they're aiming at the higher content of the game now, so you pretty much need them. It will be sacrilege to actually put common officers with epic style abilities or power. But this is, I think it's available from Ops 30, but as well there was an update to this pack as well, which added new officers. And basically what you're going to get in here, like I said, is rares and epics. Obviously, go through these chests at your heart's content, but the big officers in here is going to be Rom, Honor Guard Worf, 10 of 11, 6 of 11 for your Armadas, 5 of 11 Lorca, Pike, Gorkon, Kirk, Nero, the Triad officers as well. There you go, you got Carol there as well. Let's see what we got in the rares that are valuable. TOS Ahura, Chekhov as well. I would consider him a little bit more important. Once you actually get her up, Tasha Yar for your mission hostiles. As you can see as well, you're getting a discovery, you're getting some Borg in here as well. Chiron is a good one. Yeah, so there is Moreau, absolutely. Yuki, absolutely. But again, you're not going to be guaranteed these officers whatsoever. So let's pull the chest. Originally, it was 10 shards, but when they did the update, they increased it to 12 because of the number of officers in here. So first of all, we're going to get Deanna. As you can see, I've got 6, which means I'm getting multiple shards of a particular officer. 5 of 11, I've got 1 of. Kirk converted So, yeah, it looks like I've got 2 shards of Kirk out of this one. The Rare Wharf, not a bad card in all honesty, but yeah. Tamalok, yeah, okay, fair dues. And 10 of 11. So they're the shards that I actually got. Not particularly bad. So Kirk was the biggest pull out of that. Yeah, there you go. So they are that. So now, like I say, you can consider this is either going to be number 3 or 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we'll stick with 3 because it is the original 3 sets. So you got that. Next up is the Amalgam one. That's number 4. Not going to go into it because the only officer in there is already pictured. It's Honor Guard Worf. So that's number 5. Number 6 is going to be the original faction recruit, the FKRs. Federation Klingon Romulan. These are the original sets, and what these will pull is also your original big synergy sets. Pull a pack out of here. Obviously, I'm just basically going to be getting XP and transport patterns with these. Once you do have these officers max, and obviously this will unlock as soon as you can access the faction stores, get them. Absolutely get them, because this will, as soon as you've got these rares, the maximum number of shots, you do not even need to actually tier them up. As long as, like, let's take for Spock, for example, as long as you have achieved 589 shards in total, anything extra will be converted into transporter patterns. So absolutely do these chests, get them leveled up, get the shards as soon as possible to start getting those transporter pads, because they will be very, very valuable later in the game. But you got these as well. So you've got the original Kirk team, you've got Gorkon. Is it going to open? No, it looks like you don't want. Here we go. Gorkon and his crew. And then as well, you've got the Nero crew as well. So they're the original big sets of the game. Obviously not as important anymore. Pretty much the primary abilities states of morale, burn-in and hull breach to put on your ships. So you've got that. Next up is one of the worst, and I've actually put joint shit, and I will say that, is the elite version. Basically, it's the same as these, because it will have the same shards as them, but it's also got some additional shards in them. However, the conversion of faction credits into these particular tokens is one of the worst in the game. I actually did a video on that, so go check it out after this video and you'll see what I mean. The conversion was crap. What you'll get out of these chests as well is even worse. Like in rates, the other 3 chests are better, but obviously these are more diluted. So you've got the original set, and then you've got the TOS set, and thrown a few others as well, like some of the shakedown crews. Obviously, you've got Moreau, Leslie, Hendorf, and you've got Pike, but there are a couple of the shakedown crews that's not in here. Also, Harrison is in here. He's also a nightmare to source. In fact, it's the only sourcing for him. So if you want to work on Harrison, sadly, you're going to have to spend faction credits, but you are not guaranteed to get him. You're not. 40% chance of a rare. 8 shards. Wow. So, yeah. If it wasn't for the conversion of faction credits into these tokens, they would actually be better. Now, I will say as well that there is a prime to help with this, but what help provides is very little in my opinion. So, that was number 6. Yep, number 6. Number 7, transporter patterns. These are pure epic officers. It occasionally has a little expansion. The most recent additions was 11 of 11 and Quark. Before that, we had 4 of 11, Picard, Deanna, and Barclay. Then before that, we had Geordie, Tindy, Mariner, and Rom. And Strange New Worlds, Pike, TOS, Kirk, and Sealer, Riker. So, yeah, going back, the further down this list you go, the older it actually is in this. Now, these will use the transporter patterns that you have been collecting. So, absolutely, Costs 1,100. I will just point out as well, before somebody mentions it in the comments, if you go down to the older ones, they're only 1,000. Scopely decided to increase the price with the new ones. Don't know why. This made it easy to determine how many shards you could get. So it's like 1,000 here. I've got 200,000. So I know for a fact I could actually get 200 shards of Gorkon. Using the other conversion at 1,100, I've got to, for every 10 shards, I've got to take one off. Yeah, I've got to take 11,000 for 10 shards. So, basically for 22,000, I'm not looking at 200. I'm probably looking closer to something like 175 shards. So that's just off the top of my head. Okay, it's off the top of my head. So now that's the recruit button. That's the original area of sourcing, and in my opinion, that's where it should all be. But like I said, we'll discuss that later on. If you are finding this video useful while we wait for the lag, please don't forget to click the like button if it is being entertaining, or at least providing you some valuable information. Next up is the faction stores, and we're going to start off with the primary factions. Once you get these unlocked, you can go act for these Klingon FKR recruit tabs. Conversion rates are a hell of a lot better than those elites, but the one I will point out that's the best for you to actually go for is that one there. Recruit for 3,000 for 300 credits, and that will give you literally a 6 chest pull in those original recruit chests. Now, let's just show you it as well, just so we can actually cover bases. Where are you? Where is it? Okay, I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Next to number 3, right at the end, the elite recruit. As you can see, the conversion there, 2,375 for only 230 shards. Well, if you actually remember the chest, it's 500 recruit tokens to pull one chest. So basically, you need 3 days of pull, because they are 22-hour cooldowns. You're going to need 3 days to do it. So that's going to cost you 10,000 faction credits. 10,000. What's in the chest is valuable. I won't dispute that. But the conversion is ridiculous. What it is once you've got that prime, I'm not sure. But I don't think it really helps that much. So, now we've done that. Now we move on to the next one, which is the augment store. When the augments were dropped, we were given a chest which contained the original augment officers, 3 uncommons, 2 rares, and an epic, which used to be the standard. As you can see, it's on a cooldown right now, but 17,000 for 3 chests. RNG is not mentioned, but again, I've got all 6 of these officers maxed, so I'm just getting officer XP and transport patterns respectively. There is another chest which was also dropped with us, which is just 3 rares. Again, these officers are pretty much maxed, so I don't need to do too much. They look like that right now because obviously I've not tiered them up because they cost, there you go straight to the converted. It doesn't even show you what officers that you potentially could have got. RNG is not very good, in all honesty, but they are there if you really want to go after them. Next up is the Rogue Store. So where are we now? So it was on 6, 7, 8. We're on number 9 now. Number 9. And if you go all the way down here, I'm not going to pull this chest. The original Outlaw officers, as you can see, I've got some commons I've not even maxed out. I'm not even bothered about them. But to be honest, with the mess hall now, I really should get them maxed out, because they are cheapest chips to get leveled up and maxed out, providing those extra levels. So it's something I should really go and do. The only valuable officer in here, really, in my opinion, is Eurydice. As you can see, 1,425 shards. She is max. She's ready to go when I've got the independent credits to do it. So I've got to work on them at current. So that's number 9. Now, moving into one of the best, which behind me, if I could just get it, is the Bajoran store. Absolutely, I cannot tell you that this is one of the best sources. I can't push it enough because, which unfortunately you're not going to be able to see it, starting here in this rare loot exchange, I start getting rare Deep Space Nine officers. The Bajoran store is your sourcing for the DS9 officers. Rare in here, and then if you go into the Epic, you've also got Benjamin Sisko. If you go into the Elite, you will find all 3 officers in here as well. Again, with varying number of shards. I mean, 15's the top. Not exactly bad. But again, Benjamin Sisko is the only one of those 3 officers I've not got maxed. And just to throw it in as well, here they are as well. They're in their own recruitment chest. So there's literally 3 levels of sourcing in one faction store. This is why I say it is one of the best. It's not the best. It's one of the best. We don't have an overall best on this video. We're not going to have an overall best. There's equal best. This is one of them. 3 levels of pulling. Now, I will tell you this, that I have never, ever, ever since the drop of this in November 22, yes, November 2022, I have never pulled this chest. Never. But yet, I've got maxed out Miles, maxed out Kira, nearly maxed out Sisko. Now, obviously, this doesn't become available till Ops 35, so sadly, you've got to wait till then to start getting these. But I guarantee you, once you get into that loop of the Bajoran Solo Armadas, absolutely, go for it. But you won't, to be honest, you won't even need to touch this chest, because the more loot you get, and obviously you'll be looking at the higher cost that I've got, starting here, 108 million at my Ops level, 6 million for a 3 chest pull. I keep doing it. So that means I get 3 versions of that rare one. So 525, right? So it gives me 2 rare Armadas to do this. Go do the rare Armadas, come back in here. Granted, the uncommons on a 48-hour cooldown. I go do a 3 chest pull in here. 5.7 million. Okay, yeah, I need to go do some more rares this weekend. But again, I'm now starting to pull the officers. And I'm pulling this chest every 3 days. And I'm pulling the 3 chest pull every single time. 750 epics. Okay, 750 epics. So I'm going out doing the epics. This one is a 4-day cooldown. But I'm getting Sisko. 3 chest pull. 5.5 million. I got 36 million. Don't need to touch the epics for a while. But this is what happens when you continuously do them. And you're literally just saving just a very small amount each and every single time. If you need to start small with a 1 chest, do it. Build it up as you go along. Eventually, you'll be able to start doing the 2 chests more regularly because you'll be doing more Armadas. 3 chests, the best way to start it, in all honesty, and this is not a sell for this, hostile exchange in the middle there. Pull that. If you have enough, oh, for God's sake, we can't see them. Enough, it's not that one. Enough antimatter pods. If you've ground enough out to do the 2 pull in there, do it. Obviously, when you start the loop, you're going into Dominion space, you're killing the Jem'Hadar ships and gaining these antimatter pods. Get them up. Find out what your 2 chest pull is. Start doing the 2 chest pull. That will give you 2 uncommons every 24 hours. That's going to get you into the uncommon loot exchange, which you can start with 1 chest if you want, then work your way up to 3. Pulling 2 Armadas every single day. Before you know it, 15 months, right? 15 months, and I have a maxed Miles, maxed Kira, and Sisko's nearly maxed. Yeah, 15 months. So Miles and Kira was maxed before I'd even passed the 12-month mark. I think it took me 10 months to max them. 10 months. And I don't actively do the solo Armadas every single day anymore. I build them all up to the weekend and just do them on the weekend. Massive run. I used to do them on a daily basis, but I was even just doing pulling the single Armada for so long. Absolutely. But as well, make sure your reputation goes up as well. So, That's that sourcing. 3 levels of sourcing in one faction store. So what was that? That was number 10, wasn't it? Next up is we're not going to touch this one just yet, we're going to look at the section 31. This is a new edition, dropped it in December 23. I just got to remember which particular month. And what this is going to give us is going to give us the original form of the strike teams. Now, yes, it's locked behind a specific level, which is the next one I've got, where I can start pulling the rares. Then I've got to go up to the next level, reputation level, to get the epic. To be honest, the only ones I need out of here is actually Lalan and Ducat, because all the other officers I've got, even Carol Freeman's in here. But obviously I've got to go even further up to get Carol. So it's reasonable sourcing. Okay, it is reasonable sourcing for those. Now, if you're looking for the additions to the strike teams, yeah, we'll talk about them a little bit later on. You don't need to put it in the comments. I will mention it later on. So now we will actually, instead of me waiting till a little bit later on, because it just means too much pratarting about, going into the Xbox faction store, which was dropped January 2024, so this month at the time of recording, we was also given this chest in here, Voyager sourcing. Now this is a full set. However, what the RNG is, I do not know, because there's no I button to tell us. But this is the full Voyager set. There is another area of sourcing which we will cover in just a moment. So yeah, but as you can see, number of shards, each officer's got a number 5, 2 and 1. Literally 3 levels. Not the best way of sourcing because there's no chance of a full pull, but it is there to steadily do. Now I'm guessing there will be a 22-hour cooldown timer on this one, so just watch out for that one. But anyway, so that rounds out the faction stores. What are we on now? 11? Hang on. So what we got? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we're on 11. And what did I say? 14? We're 3. Apparently we've only got 3 more, but yeah, I've actually got more on my list. Because this was a list I did prior to literally just prior to recording this video. So I'm not going to tell you the number I'm going to reach. I'm sure you're probably already guessing it, but please don't put it in the comments because I will throw the number up later on how many we've got to. So we're on 11 so far. 11 points of sourcing. Next one. Now, granted, you could probably argue that the first, what was it, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could argue the first 7 was actually in the same location, but it's different number of chests, which is fine. So yeah, you could probably knock that down to one area, but that's fine. So next up is we go into the support tab and Cerritos Refinery. This is where you're going to get your Cerritos officers, so the lower decks. All you've got is what's there, which is Mariner, Sam, Bulmer, Tindy and Badgie. That is it. That's all you're going to get in that chest. It is RNG based. To be honest, the RNG is not particularly good. There are days, it is on a 22-hour cooldowner. There are days where you could have days on end where you don't actually pull an officer. Yeah. So Tindy will definitely go for the, and Mariner, go for the transport pans because they are the most 2 valuable officers in that pack. Especially Tindy with that hull health. Mariner is your weapons damage, which will be good against the new Zindi hostiles. So, that's that one. Next up is the Borg, not that one. Okay, so let's scroll up a little bit then. Is the Borg Tech. Now, sourcing here for the Borg officers, this is the Borg officers, isn't particularly too bad. It's locked behind these particular chests, which do have their various cooldown timers. So in here, you're going to find the original Borg officers and 2 of 11. The amount I can do a full pull straight away. the timer's just gone. It's actually a 2-day cooldown. But again, everything's converted straight to Officer XP and Transporter Patterns. So we know full well I got some officers out of this. Next one will be the Rare. And in here, again, we've got 1 of 11, 2 of 11. We've got 7 of 11. We've got Galanar. And then we've got our 3 Epic Mining Officers as well. So absolutely worth going for. This is a 3-day cooldown timer, as you've just seen appear. I got Galanar and I got some shards of one of the other officers that I've already got maxed. So, yeah. Obviously, you're going to get some Vidal boosting loot for the original Vidal, because this was centered around increasing the amount of loot you can get with the original Vidal in the original systems. Next one is going to be the Epic. It's still on a cooldown timer, but what you will find in there is Hugh. Yes, Hugh is in that one. So, it is a 4-day cooldown timer, so just be aware. Further on in here as well is this particular one where you are going to see Dizok, and the Borg Queen. Now, for me, sourcing is ridiculous because it requires you, right? The best way to do this, the best way to do this is to lead an expansion cube armada. So basically, go do a solo armada first, then go do a expansion cube. Lead it. Leading it will give you the leader's chest, which will give you the most, so you can do a pull. However, the RNG for the officers, I do not know, but look at this: 1, 2, and 3 for the Queen, 1, 3, and 5 for Dizok. Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, they're not the most valuable officers in the game. So is this a chest that you really want to waste time on? Well, that's for you to decide. I don't bother. I literally just don't bother. So, we've got the Borg tape. Next up is the next best sourcing of officers there is. Hull fragments converted to Strange New Worlds. Now, this is not a full set. I will just tell you this. Una is missing from this set. But you've got a chance of a full pull of Pike, Hemner, Ortegas, Uhura, and Spock. And, of course, it always goes right down to 2 shards. Not 1, 2. Now, the way you're going to do this is you're going to pull the chest every 2 days here. Actium Venom to Hull Fragments. So the Actium Venom you get from grinding out the Actians. And then you're going to bring it here. Claim the Hull Fragments. Then go into the officer shards and pull in there. You have enough. You'll get enough to do 1 chest every 2 days, and periodically you'll get, because of the number of Hull fragments you actually get, you will actually do enough to do two 1 chest pulls periodically. It's roughly around about every 8 days, give or take. Now, there is another way to do it as well, to expedite that pull, is every 2 days, you can literally go into your dailies, if we can get out fast enough, go into your dailies, get your Mantis out, and go sting another player, or players, shall we say, for these, the Actian Hunter and Slayer, once every 2 days. Because if you do this one, you get enough to do a single chest every single day. Brilliant. However, if you do it every other day, you will get enough to pull 4 1 chests every 2 days. So now you can look at it from this perspective, and basically it's because of the amount of stinging juice that you actually get every single day. You get enough to do 2 stings per day. So basically just save it up. 4 stings in 1 day, wait 2 days, another 4 stings. Because if you do the previous daily on a daily, that's 2 chests. That is it, 2 chests. However, if you wait every 2 days, you can pull 4. Twice the amount. Twice the amount. But every 2 days as well, every 2 days, you are also getting, let's get back into it, you're also getting the Hull fragments. So time it along your Hull fragments, and guess what you can do every 2 days? You can do a 5 chest pull. A 5 chest pull every 2 days. And then every 8 days, you'll have 6 available. You'll be able to do the 5 chest pull and the 1 chest pull, giving you a total of 6 chests to do. This is why this is one of the other best measures of sourcing in the game. So we've got the Deep Space Nine officers and we've got Strange New World officers with the best level, 2 completely different ways of doing it, but the best sourcing of officers in the game so far. That is it. There's no more best ones. That is it. But there are more. There are more. Yes, there are still more levels of sourcing. So that's the Mantis. That's us finished with the refinery. Because the next place you have to go is for actually... There's no debate on this particular one. Absolutely no debate. It basically puts you reliant on your alliance and you to help your alliance. Which is fine. It's encouraging cooperation. But if you go into your artifact gallery, click on convert. But before you do all that, you need to do rare formation armadas. Rare formation armadas. And then what you are going to get is some complex nanotech tokens out of that to bring here. Now, this is based on my ops level. There's the cost down below. You are guaranteed rare skill points. Nice. Definitely could do with them. Premium artifact tokens. Yeah. All right then. Fine. And 1 pull of any officer shard in here. Now, take a look at the Doctor, BLT, Janeway, Paris, Harry, and Kit, and Chakotay, Tuvok, all full unlocks. However, RNG. Because as well, you could just as easily go all the way down here and get the single shard of Tuvok. Yeah. So again, this is going to be subject to those RNG levels for rares and epics. Rares having the better RNG, epics not so much. Then the number of then the officers, depending on how good they are. So realistically, in amongst this set, Tuvok is probably the worst. It's cargo increasing. Good for Voyager only. Very niche. All the other officers are pretty good. Harry would probably be the next one because it's just morale below deck. But when it comes to faction grinding, faction reputation grinding, well, yeah, okay, he's got more value. Chakotay's your armadas. So, absolutely, definitely be up there. But it's not as high as Janeway or the Doctor. No, Janeway and the Doctor actually become higher than him. Because the Doctor's got cargo increasing below deck. And he's also got mitigation on your bridge. Ooh. Janeway, shield mitigation, if I remember correctly, is against hostiles and armadas. Increases your shield mitigation. Absolutely. And of course, below deck is isolytic damage. So she's definitely going to be more valuable than Chakotay. But to be perfectly honest, the 3 epics in here, their value is pretty much nearly not there on par. It's nearly there, but it's not par. But ultimately, this is one of the shittest sourcing because it's 1 pull of any of these officers. Any of these officer bundles, 1 pull. That is it. So you could easily get just 1 shard of Tuvok over 110 shards of the Doctor. Then you've got to wait 22 hours for a cooldown. And the cost is also crap. 75 for 1 chest. 3 times as much for 2 chests. But that's scopely thinking for you. So, now, that's the active sourcing in the game. Now, I don't have a lot of screenshots for some of these, but some of them I can actually go over. So, starting from the top then, we have Crucible of War. That will also contain some of the Shakedown Crews and Ella Makinen. So you've got that. Then we've got Incursions, which will give you the Strike Teams and Una. Yep. Strike Teams. And I think they are full Strike Team sets as well. I think they are. Not 100% sure. It's not Incursions right now, so I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not something I actively look at joining Incursions because I know for a fact we're not going to win. Syndicate is also one I can actually show you. It is sourcing for just 2 officers, and that's the 2 Syndicate officers. The first one being Grush, who, to be perfectly honest, if you're pulling this on a daily basis, you will max Grush out before you get, there's 150, yeah, before you get this one here, which is the 150 Grush shards, which basically is maxing him out. You can't use this to max Grush out. Same with Mavery. As you can see here, 40 shards of Mavery to begin with, and by the time the next level, you get the unlock. So by the time you actually get all the way up to 35, that's when Mavery is maxed. That's when you have the maximum number of shards of Mavery. But pulling this on a daily basis, you will reach maxed out shards for Mavery long before you reach level 35. Long before you reach it. So there is that one. Next up, which is another sourcing for an officer, is away teams. There are various officers in here, but there's most notably one particular officer. I've got none available at the minute. Let's just have a quick look, see if one will actually proc for us after we've pulled these. So when the lag catches up. So we've got a simple success on that one. Yay. Absolutely coming in. Make sure you're doing these on a daily basis as well. I will just throw that in there as well. So, oh, a nice critical. Another 14,000 Latinum. Nice. Love my Latinum missions. Love them. Absolutely best thing for sourcing Latinum. Next to the Latinum refinery, of course. Critical and more away team credits. Yee! For sourcing ships. So, and then the last one we get is, yeah, another critical. Nice. So 3 criticals and 1 normal. Let's see if any's procced. Yeah, we've got one here. Acid Bayer. Yeah, fine. You've got Krell. You've got various officers. Michael Burnham. But the one particular officer in here that has no other sourcing in the game at the minute, except for here, is the Epic Data. Now, I'm not even sure how to actually find him fast, in all honesty, without scrolling all the way across, because mine's only tier 5. I better hold the stand, because otherwise I'm just going to keep turning the phone, because my stand's not secure. But it's the best stand I've got. Come on, Data, where are you? There's Una. Here he is. So, here's Data. The only sourcing that you'll have for him is here in the away teams. You've got the potential of getting a minimum 12 shards, but it depends on how you lay your critical traits out to how many shards you... Well, actually, no, not your critical traits. Your critical traits go to the chance of you getting those 12 shards. Yes, it goes to getting. It's the actual key stats and the chance of success which determines the number of shards. Anything less than 100% will give you 12 shards. Anything over 100% will give you ever increasing number of shards, but it will not increase at a vast rate. At most, I'd probably say it is an increase of about 2 or 3 if you get them maxed out. So, not the best sourcing, but it is there. Other sourcing we have going in between the arcs themselves is the Officer Flash Pass, where they will give us 3 officers. On average, 1 epic, 2 rares. Changes every single time. There's a free path, there's the elite path. The elite path costs you $10 to buy, but it will give you a number of shards, and it will also work almost as similar to the original battle pass when it actually loads. That's not the wave defense one. The original battle pass. So if you scroll over to find, yes, I did pass another one as well. Here we go, battle pass overflow points. So if you go into here as well, you will find that you'll probably get on the officer flash pass some shards of officers to go with your latinum and your broken de-sealing rods. But it's never guaranteed those flash passes are going to run. Scopely have been very good so far of actually giving us one every single time in between the arcs. And when it's a 2-week break, on occasion, they have actually ran 2, one after the other, with in total 6 officers in total. Your battle pass is also another officer sourcing, but this is sourcing for officers that are in this month. So these 2 officers, January 2024, it's the only sourcing we've got. So we can actually include them. Now, there'll also be various other events like this Metaphasic Hunter one, which will drop shards of a specific hunter of a specific officer. So you'll have events like this that can run during the arc, in between arcs. They can run pretty much whenever they feel like. Then obviously you've got this event for some reason. Oh no, that's actually unlocking to PAL. Yeah, we don't want to worry about that one. Syndicate Advancement is another set of sourcing. It will give you 2 officers, an epic and a rare. As you can see, I haven't got a milestone. This is a heroic event. Despite the fact it's not stated right now, it is an heroic event. Free-to-play players at most, you will, if you have enough Syndicate X, if you can pull enough Syndicate XP, first milestone. That's as high as you can go. That's as high as I go every single time. Now, because I buy the Elite Battle Pass, which is $20, I get an extra 2,700 Metaphasic Particles, which I then take to the actual store, Metaphasic store, and I can get the Syndicate pack in there, which will give me on average an extra 500 Syndicate XP every single chest I pull. So that gets added to this. I usually spend, I did about, what was it, 9 chests on this particular one, on this particular event. So, but the chance of me getting the second milestone in the next hour and 6 minutes at the time of recording, yeah, no, it's not going to happen. Free-to-play players, at most, you will be able to pull the first level. If you're lucky, depends on the scoring, on how Scopely do it. But it is officer sourcing, it's there, I have to include it. Mission Key Hunter as well is another event as well that comes around. These just literally generally fall under events. So as you can see, we've got Deep Space Nine officers. Bashir, Shock Horror, is there. Shock Horror, he's actually there. But we'll talk about that shortly. But, yeah. Not much else you can say about that one. Syndicate progression, various events, extremely rare. Yes. Also, you've got this particular one here as well. Have we got the pick officers in this one? Yes, we got the pick officers. Pulling the mission keys on an SMS to get 4 shards of each officer. The only valuable officer out there in this one is actually Beverly. For, we can't call it, for her below deck ability, which increases broken parts. So, but yeah. So, that's the sourcing. That's all the sourcing we have in the game. Wow. A lot of sourcing. So, at the beginning of the video, I said, piss off you skinny runt. I said there were 14 levels of sourcing, right? So, let's go through this. So, we have, in the recruit bit, now, like I said, you can put this as one, or you can put it as individuals. So, we have the mission key, discovery, the original sourcing, which is 3, the standard, premium, and ultra, the amalgam, the FKR recruits, the elite FKR recruits, and transporter passes. So we're up to 7 there. 7. Now, like I said, you can consider it 1, or you can actually consider it 9 if you wanted to split the other 3 up. All right. So, but I'm going to say 7. Okay, we're going to stick at 7. Then you've got the augment store. Then you've got the Rogue Store, then the Bajoran Store, then the Section 31, then the Refinery, then the Borgtech, the Mantis, Artifact Gallery, Exborg. Well, there's 9 additions onto that 7. That's 16. I'm at 16. Ooh. Then we're into the others. Crucible of War, Incursions, Syndicate, Away Teams, Flash Pass, Syndicate Progression, various events. Various rare events. That's another 7. Oh. That's 23 points of sourcing. Now, yes, some are better than others. There's no question about it. Like I said, Deep Space Nine and so the Bajoran Store and the Mantis Refinery are the best forms of sourcing in the game, bar none. The shittest ones is the Voyager in the Artifact Gallery and where was the other one? And the Elite Recruit faction. They're the shittest. The rest are all either mediocre or average. So, now, there are officers who I currently have 0 sourcing. Now, please, if I've got this wrong, drop it in the comment section down below. But, here we go. The first officer is Jadzia Dax. No sourcing. Now, when I say no sourcing, I am going to throw this caveat in here. I mean no sourcing, and I do not include various different events. There is no active sourcing. It's extremely rare if they come round. So basically sourcing methods like the various events, extremely rare. Syndicate Progression. You can't guarantee what officer you're going to get. Officer Flash Pass. Again, you can't guarantee what you're going to get in there. Yeah. So those 1, 2, 3, those particular ways of sourcing, I am not including as a fixed sourcing method. Syndicate, Away Teams, Crucible of War, Incursions are fixed because they come round periodically and we know those officers are there. We've just got to wait for them to come round. Various events, we don't know what we're going to get. Sorry, I've got to keep checking. Officer Flash Pass, we don't know what we're getting. And that third one, my God, my memory's pathetic. Syndicate Progression, the heroic event, we don't know what we're getting. We will get those 3 officers for that month. Those 2 officers for that month. That's it. So ultimately, there is no sourcing for these officers. I won't include stuff that we can't guarantee is going to come round. So Jadzia Dax, Julian Bashir, he's another one. Odo, again, no sourcing. Kira Nerys, no sourcing. 4 Deep Space Nine officers. Now, the next 3 I'm calling into question whether they are in the Incursion store or not. I can't remember. So please, there will be a pinned comment which will caveat this. These 4 officers I'm not 100% sure on, but Shax, Jack Ransom, Andy Billups, Sir Tahan. No, not that cat. That cat! Yes, not DJ. DJ is a rarity, that's for sure. But, yeah, those 4, I believe, can't confirm right now, but if you want to actually tell me yes or no, if you remember, drop it in the comment section down below. I will put a highlighted comment stating otherwise. Stating what you've actually said. If you agree with me that they're not there, say it. If you disagree and say no, they are there, say it. Let me know. Because like I said, incursions I don't pay too much attention to. So, but the four Deep Space Nine officers, absolute guaranteed. Also, officers currently got no sourcing is the Enterprise E officers. and the officers we're getting this month. Now, that's nothing new. We never get sourcing for officers, but as soon as, in fact, during the first month, that we never get told what sourcing we're going to get. So, yeah, that's not very good, but it is the way Scopely work. So, that's 3 of the 4 areas I wanted to cover. The 4th area is, how can we reduce the number of places to source officers? Well, events, absolutely keep them. Absolutely keep them. Keep them sourcing various ones in there. Now, one way I did think is if we go back into here, and to be perfectly honest, right, it all has to go here. It all has to go here. Make it a lot easier. Scopely constantly say we've got a limited amount of bandwidth. We've got a limited bandwidth. If you've got 23 different areas of sourcing officers, you're wasting bandwidth. Put them in one place here. And what we could do is, where are you? There they are. These 3. Now, I will say this. We add one. We add a single chest in here. So basically, we're looking at the standard, and that would be for every single common officer. Every single common officer. Okay? Now, the chest that we add in is an uncommon chest. It says it in its name. You know what's going in here. Uncommon officers. Okay? Next up will be the premium. Sling all the rares in there. Rares only. And then the ultra epics. That is one of the 2 ideas I had. Literally so simple. Yes, you'd have to create an uncommon currency for the uncommon chest, but you could leave the other currencies in place. But split them down. A chest for commons, a chest for uncommons, a chest for rares, and a chest for epics. You've got these 3, just add one more. That is it. Then shove them all in there. But, the downside for that is it becomes very diluted. Very diluted. So, maybe not one of the best ways around it. What would be the best way around it? Well, how about something similar to this? But. Not Federation, Klingon, and Romulan. Right, not that. How about synergy-specific chests, right? Clear this out, not the transport patterns. Keep the transporter patterns. Clear it out and do a single chest. For example, Voyager officers. All the Voyager officers that we have. Deep Space Nine. All 7 Deep Space Nine officers that we have. That includes the 4 we have no sourcing for, right? Strange New Worlds. Okay, we've got a chest for that. Move it here. Shakedown crews. A crew that specifically we don't have overall active. Well, actually, we do have some active sourcing, but others we don't. So shove that in here. But you get the idea. A synergy-based chest of all officers in that synergy group. Plonk it here. Now, what currency are we going to use? Ultra Recruit tokens. Literally, just Ultra Recruit tokens. And in each chest, you can put all 4 rarity levels. Commons, uncommons, rares, and epics. Put them all in there. So that way, and then make all the chests cost the same. Ultra Recruit tokens. Now, if we go back here, you can see how many Ultra Recruit tokens I've got. I've got 44,000. 44,000. That's built up over a couple of months, right? Now, yeah, I can go do a splash in here. I can do 55 chests in here. I'm not going to because it'll be like way too long added onto this video. But Ultra Recruit tokens, so much sourced every single week. So allow you to do, so let's just say like 4,000 a week, right? 4,000 a week. That'll give me enough to do 5 chests. But I got to pick a chest. I've got to pick a chest. And then do guaranteed pull out of that chest. A guaranteed pull. 1 epic, 2 rares, 3 uncommons, 4 commons. Do the officer pulls like that. And you're guaranteed all that. So to unlock an epic, I would have to pull 100 chests, right? Well, I'm pulling a 5 chest every week. So 20 weeks, I could unlock an epic officer from that synergy group. Now, yes, it is a slower grind. Maybe double it to 8,000 or maybe even take it up to 12,000 a month. 12,000 a week, sorry. 12,000 a week. And let players pick what officers they actively want to go after. They may not want to go after the officers. So like, pulling in here, I've got no choice on what officers I'm going to get. That's basically RNG. But I could get Sealer. I don't pissing use Sealer on anything. I don't even use it on away teams, for crying out loud. So why would I want Sealer? So maybe that Pride of Romulus group I don't go after. Now, yes, I'm going to need to max her for the Metzol, but that's that. But make it so players can have a choice on what they go after. Put it all in one location. And that's that. That's all it needs to be. Make it simple. Easy RNG, easy UI. Where do you go to get your recruiter? Where you go to get your officer shads? The recruit tab. Not in an artifact gallery, not in a refinery, not in a faction store, not pissing on the moon. The recruit tab. Unless the recruit tab's on the moon. But anyway, that's it for me. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you do wish to donate to the channel, the join button for memberships, Cashapp and PayPal links are available in the description down below, as well as a link to the Discord as well. Until then, this is Officer Sourcing. 23 places of sourcing. That's a bit too many, Scopely. I'm Admiral Pegasus. This is the Pegasus Show. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, live long and prosper, and I shall catch you on the next one. Goodbye.